Welcome to episode 3 of the YouTube Backplate Project. I'm your host, Michael Smith, and this is Cad Chaos. Okay, so I'm starting off, and I'm going to break up some geometry around the subscribe button and the replay video button. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to apply a different material. So I'm just throwing in some construction geometry right now, and I'm going to put up some text on here, some replay video text. I figured that would be a nice extra for this replay button, just to kind of set it off instead of just being an arrow that's backwards. So what I'm doing is I just set up a little bit of construction geometry here. I'm going to throw in some more construction lines here that I will then apply angles to, and that's going to allow me to control exactly where that replay video text is going to show up on that arrow. And you see this right now as I'm kind of adjusting these angles. This is a good tactic to use to kind of really get the text right where you want it, and you'll be seeing a lot of this in this video right now. So I kind of see it trying to stretch it around the entire arrow here, but I don't like it until I get it more up towards the top. That way all the letters are vertical. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do just like I did in the first two episodes, where I take the sketch here and I'm going to extrude a surface off of this, and I'm going to do that through the part, which I'll then later use the split command with the surface as my guide to split out the geometry here. So that subscribe button is now its own entity away from the back plate. So what I'm doing here is I'm just selecting all these different surfaces, and now I'm going to go through and I'm going to click all of the text here. And I click the inside of the letters as well, because that breaks those apart. That's a mistake I made on the first two episodes that I didn't do, and it made me have to use that split command more times than necessary. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding a little bit of geometry to the back. This is just going to be a revolved cylinder. Now, in my thought when I went to render this out was that it was going to be more of like a fluorescent backlight. I ended up not using this in the final rendering because it just didn't light up how I intended it. What I did is basically just line up a circle and then use that path there to revolve it. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm hiding a bunch of the geometry, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to apply a little bit of text in the center, but I needed everything here to move around a lot quicker. So I hit all the geometry I didn't want to be looking at. So now I'm going to throw in some construction line, and this is where I'm going to bring in my Cad Chaos text. And you'll see here I'm using the construction geometry aligned to the text, and I'm trying to get everything just to look right, and then offsetting lines and whatnot and working different angles until I get everything just right. Now my first thought was, oh, this would be kind of cool offset, but I don't necessarily like it offset. So I then changed my mind here real quick, and I'm going to end up correcting this text so that it's horizontal. And then I'm just going to align it here just based off of some really random geometry, construction lines, stuff that's going on there, and I get it looking to about right. It's not actually lined up in the center, but to my eye that looks correct. So I'm going to do again just what I did with the replay video. I'm going to take that sketch and all that text, I'm going to extrude a surface from that through the part. I'm going to come in here and we use the split command again, select all those surfaces I just created. This time I just use the flyout because it's easier to select. And now I'm going to hide all this stuff except for the text I need. And I'm going to line myself up here to do some knurling. You can see I'm just hiding some geometry now. Alright, so now I have Cad Chaos, just the letters. So I'm going to throw in an angle here that is 30 degrees off the center line of the Cad Chaos text, which I forgot to add. So I'm going to go add that right now. I'm going to reference an old sketch here, right off the center of that A. I'm going to add a construction line. Add a construction line 30 degrees off center there. I'm going to expand that out beyond the limit of the text and add a reference plane, so that then I can now create a sketch on this plane and just create a little triangle here. I'm going to take that triangle and I'm going to just pattern this out, linear pattern, multiple times. I think I end up doing it around 90 times or so. I'm going to add a little bit of a couple of dimensions there so everything's nothing's hanging, nothing's going to move. Select all the text and extrude cut. Now it is my thought that I could take this and revolve it 60 degrees. Unfortunately that just didn't work out as well as I thought it was going to. So I'm going to end up coming back to this text here and just repeating the last process I did. I'm going to throw a sketch 30 degrees off. This time it's the other way off. And I'm just going to redo the sketch and extrude cut it. So here we go. There's that sketch 30 degrees off. The limit of that sketch is beyond the limit of the text. There's the reference plane. Again, creating this sketch. I'm able to reference some of the stuff there and tie it to the actual solid bodies behind there, so everything lines up real good. Again, extrude cut, select all the text, bingo bango boom, I have Cad Chaos that now has knurling applied to the text. So my next task here is to combine the geometry back again, because when I apply the carbon fiber look that I end up choosing, I want it to apply to that entire solid body. So I want it to all be one body. So I'm just combining these right now, and boom, there we go. Now I got my Cad Chaos text I need. I'm going to unhide all the bodies that I've hidden now, and then I'm going to bump up the resolution here for when I bring it into my rendering software. Save it out, and that is the end of the U2 backplate project modeling portion. If you found it helpful, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.